details that make each stadium. The actual entrance of Notre Dame, going out, all the players hitting the play like a champion today. So we know this is a cutscene to intro to a game. We see, obviously, more of those pre-game rituals following through. And to me, as I said, this shows the attention to detail with Boston College that separates Madden, NFL, from college, NCAA. Of course, we have the Florida Gators. And all of these things, I will say, can get skipped over a couple games in, a couple seasons in, depending on how much you love your team. But it shows that EA Sports has taken that commitment to getting an authentic college football experience. And it starts with how those players interact going onto the field. We then start with that first helicopter flyover. Now, this helicopter flyover, truthfully, has been in Madden. Haven't seen it in a while, so we may have some kind of reused assets here. But all things being equal, we expect that. It is, after all, a game that is doing some copy and pasting. We go back to intros. So we're seeing team introductions running out the tunnel. However, we do start to see a little bit of variance with player models. And I know this is a small thing, but it is also important because a lot of the times with Madden, we've seen these cutscenes, all the players essentially look the same. Yet here we see distinct, different player models on these, what may not be cutscenes. I know it's a small detail, but it's a detail you might have missed. You go watch Madden, all the cutscenes are the same. These at least have different player models. Whether they're the same or not remains to be seen. We go through a couple more team intros, crowd shots. We see Wake Forest, the motorcycle. We start to see some mascots being brought in later on, but a lot of it is focused on just a general hyping up of a pregame. But again, showing me EA is very much in tune with its audience and what they've asked for. Because the first thing that needed to change was the atmosphere. And listen, I'll just reiterate. I can be critical about gameplay when I have gameplay. Until then, this is what we have to go off of. And anyone that looks at this and isn't impressed, or anyone that looks at this and says, yeah, that isn't what we wanted, you have to tell me what you want then. Because when we're going through these other intros, when we're seeing players go out on the field, when we see the marching band in the background, this really captures the essence of college football. And that's what everyone wanted to see. That's what everyone expected. In fairness, that's what I think a lot of people thought EA wasn't going to be able to replicate and make this feel like its own unique game if so much of this was going to be comprised of Madden's assets. Now, I will say, we're a minute through the trailer, essentially, before we start to see some in-game action, and it starts with a kickoff. We then see Robinson on a kick return, and again, very, very carefully selected footage. Maybe I can go back later on and slow some of this down, but even still, the only thing that stands out to me is how the returners initially turned when the ball was caught. But outside of that, everything is cut so close, even on the reverse, where the camera spins back around, that you can't tell what happens. And it's interesting if you actually go back and look at that play closely, there was a defender that kind of disappears. Looks like they were going to make the tackle in, and they didn't. Then we cut it back, we kind of see some team celebrations, we go through a variety of different mascots, which, nice to see they're in the game. How they're included remains to be seen. We go back into a little bit more gameplay where we see a little bit of the line work, but not enough to really know what's going on. We see a catch with the 1 foot in. Very important if you're following college football. Hopefully the rules are corrected, but I think that was them signifying to us that they are. We see some more celebrations. We then probably get the most gameplay we have on a pitch, but again, it's very hard to tell what's going on. They cut right away to the footwork on a cutback, which again looks great. The defender doesn't go into an animation behind them. And then we're back to mascots, which again, they're cutscenes. I don't know how much people are going to use them. We go through some more team celebrations, which again, if they're cutscenes, might disappear. And then we go through one kind of final play selection of quarterback drop back, defender pass rush, and we're going back and forth from the player's torso to the player's feet, and then eventually a sack. And it just makes it impossible to see from a gameplay standpoint what was going on. You just can't see it. And then you kind of get a point of view of a pan through of a final play where you go through the line, you're looking at the quarterback, they then cut back to the quarterback in motion, quarterback is dropping back. At the end of the release, actually throws, looks very good. It's exactly how you would time a pass, and it ends up being a deep pass into the end zone where we have the one toe tap, which kind of looks animation dependent, but not really. But ultimately, that essentially becomes carried through a whole bunch of team celebrations along with the release and the pre-order info. So with that in mind, that is essentially how this trailer looks, what this trailer shows us. Again, really going to have to wait to see a gameplay perspective unless I really go frame by frame on this. But for the intended purpose of this trailer, which you would believe is to hype up this game, this is honestly, as I said in the beginning, the best reveal trailer I've ever seen EA Sports come out with. It answers a lot of questions as to what the game is going to showcase. It answers, in my opinion, a lot of questions as to whether or not they made a true commitment to college